This is going to be a tough one, I can tell. So any dad who has stood here today where I stand knows how hard it is to look at your beautiful daughter and to know that you're going to entrust her life and her future happiness to another man. Trevor asked me if presiding over this ceremony was going to be as emotional as it was when I did the ceremony for him and Lauren. And I said, this is going to be way harder, Trev, I tell you. And I was emotional then, but it's really there's no comparison to how it feels today. Giving your daughter's hand away in marriage is quite a daunting thing. You know, dads are programmed to be on high alert to protect our daughters, and we're highly suspicious of any young man who is trying to win over her heart. And a dad is a tough sell when it comes to his little girl. And I'm, however, reminded that this day is the culmination of a lot of prayers. For us, it's been 31 and a half years that we began praying when Avery would be asleep and it was quiet, and her mom and I would kneel beside her bed and we would pray. We would pray that God would bring an incredible husband to you one day. And little did we know that, from where we were in Lake Highlands, at about 45 miles away in the little bitty town of Cache, Texas, there was another parental couple who were praying for their little boy as well, for a wonderful Christian young lady to be brought into his life. And here you two are. You're the incredible blessing and answer to God's prayer. So I want us also to be reminded that it was 35 and a half years that a bride stood beside her groom at First Baptist Church, and that it was almost exactly 35 years that another bride stood beside her groom at Mineral Heights Baptist Church in Greenville, and they exchanged their vows, and you two are continuing a legacy that was started many years ago. And so I want to acknowledge your moms. I want to acknowledge Brenda and Yvette. And I just want to tell you, you guys, you hit the jackpot. You got some great moms. And you really couldn't be more blessed than that. And Randy, thank you for being a man of God. Thank you for raising your family in a way that leads them to Christ and being the role model that Kyle needed to become the man that he is today. Now is really the tough part, okay? So bear with me. Avery, from the moment you were born, I was really excited to have a little girl. But I have to admit I was overwhelmed too. I was pretty confident that I could be a good dad boy, or boy dad, I said that wrong. I could be a good boy dad, but I wasn't sure how good a girl dad I could be. And I really made it a priority to try to give you as much attention and support as I could. And I was really on a mission so that at no moment in your life would you ever doubt that you had a daddy who loved you. I wanted you to know that you were safe, secure, valued, and significant. And I desperately wanted to have a great relationship with you. And you have always made that easy. You're so intelligent, you're so beautiful and athletic and driven and dutiful, you're even-tempered, you're nurturing, and Thayer can attest to that. You're spiritual, energetic, adventurous, and fun. And I will forever cherish our relationship and forever be grateful to God that He gave you to Mom and me as a daughter. And I consider my relationship with you to be one of the greatest blessings that God has ever given me. And when I look at you, I can still see the little girl who hated to have a bow in her hair, who at the age of 4 would lay out her uniform, in her soccer uniform, in the shape of a person on her bed before game day, who would sweetly kiss her daddy's bald head, who would boss around her brothers, thinking she's the vice mommy in charge of making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing at any given moment. And I think of the many Indian princess campouts and as Choctaws. And I'm never going to forget that there was one time that you were sleeping in the upper bunk and you kind of wildly fell out of the top bunk between the exterior window and the mattress, and you landed right on top of me. And you startled me, and I was, from a dead sleep, I was wide awake, and you just looked at me squarely in the face, and you said, "Hello, Daddy." And there was this progression in soccer from green lizards to lacers to burn to solar to wildcats to raiders. And there were all the fun and quirky little nicknames we had. You were Pookie Bear, and you were Viper because, snake names were all the rage. Peekaboo Street, Wildflower, Avariah, Avekin, and just affectionately, Ave. And we still have our Colgate Japanese maple tree that was planted on the day you left to go to college. And that will always mark the beginning stages of your growing independence. And wow, your mom and I have always just stood and marveled at your ability to do whatever you set your mind to. And your mom adores you, and she counts you as her best friend. I know you all talk at least 10 times a day, and even though there's kind of a borderline codependent relationship, Mom will always be your greatest cheerleader and advocate. But mostly has been your steadfast faith in Jesus that has made the greatest impression. And I remember when you first put your trust in Jesus as a little girl, when we lived at our house on Highwood, and you have pursued him to this day. And your faith has been strong, and you have been a radiant example and reflection of Jesus' love to so many people who are blessed to know you. So, sweetheart, you have been an amazing daughter. You've blessed me beyond measure, and it's been a privilege to watch you grow up into the spectacular woman that you are. Kyle, I can see what Avery sees in you. To start, your name is Kyle, so we're going to check that one off. We have the same hairline, so that'll check that one off. You're 5'9", 200. That'll be another check mark. You're rugged. Check. You're strong. Check. You're handsome. Well, I'll hold my reservation on that one. No, I'm kidding. It's kind of like looking up in a mirror up here. It's just kind of crazy. You're easygoing and funny, and okay, so we're not exact clones, okay? But I want to say, I really want to thank you for loving Avery well.